This is a Tecno Pop 9, and I'll gladly say that this is the first Tecno Pop smartphone that has swayed me into thinking or believing that one can actually find something good in the very budget segment. This device cost only $75 or 115,000 naira, and I'll never believe I will see the day a smartphone that costs about 115,000 naira actually makes sense, at least in today's economy. If you've ever used a Tecno Pop smartphone in the past, you realize that they weren't that impressive. The experience used to be terrible. They were among these smartphones I couldn't recommend, but this particular one right here has completely changed the game for the Pop series. This is very good in a lot of ways, like 120Hz refresh rate, 4.5G network according to Tecno, infrared remote control, and a lot of incremental upgrade from its predecessor. But there are still some things that we need to talk about. So in this video, I'm going to review it and share my honest opinion with you guys. Now, let's see what comes in the box of a $75 smartphone. When you open the box, you'll see the device wrapped in plastic that carries basic highlights of what to expect from the device. Next is an MTN recharge card voucher. You get a 15-watt charger, a 12 plus 1 month warranty card, a plastic silicone case, a pair of earpiece, a USB Type-C charging port, and a SIM ejector tool. All of these are pretty standard of what you get with a budget Tecno device. On the right side, we've got the power button and the volume rocker keys. To the left, we've got a SIM tray that can take two 4G nano SIM card and a micro SD card. At the bottom, we've got a headphone jack, a microphone, a USB Type-C charging port, and a speaker grill. Then on top of the device, you have another speaker. At the back of the device, you have the 13 megapixels main camera sensor and the infrared remote sensor. This thing that looks like another camera is actually an IR blaster. Then there is a flashlight and Tecno branding. Now, after playing around with this phone for some days, I've got to say that I'm really impressed with what the $75 can get you in the smartphone world. The first thing that stood out for me was the form factor. It is slim and lightweight. Now, despite its plastic construction, it is polished to perfection, especially in this glittery white color that I have here. It has a really nice design that looks very attractive, and from a distance it looks like an expensive device, and one can argue that it actually looks like an iPhone. I also appreciate the minimal and sleek camera bump, and it is a pleasure to hold. Like I said earlier, it is also lightweight considering the material used here. Surprisingly, build quality has exceeded my expectations, with tactile buttons and a punch hole camera on the front of the device. That actually makes sense. This is what you hardly get coming from a low budget device like this. Now let's quickly talk about the display. It is not going to blow you away or anything like that. It is just a 6.67 inches 720p IPS LCD display with a 120Hz refresh rate. Nothing too fancy in terms of specs, but you know what, that's alright because it's all about achieving the balance here. The colors are pretty solid, not too flashy, but they get the job done. It is not going to offer vibrant and black level of an OLED display, but that's okay, you don't need it at this price point. The text is sharp enough for anyone to read without any issues, which is again all that you need. Even though it's only a 720p resolution, it packs in more pixels per inch than some other cheap smartphones out there. When it comes to watching YouTube videos or consuming media content in general, which I assume a lot of people will do on this kind of smartphone, it is very smooth and decent. Playback is smooth, and the slightly bigger screen actually provides a more immersive experience. You can also take it outside on a sunny day and still see what's happening on the screen just fine, thanks to the peak brightness setting around 500 nits. Overall, the display is decent at this price point. One of the standard features on this smartphone is the infrared remote control that it comes with, that enables you to control your home electronics with ease. What I don't really like about it is the placement of the IR blaster, just right beside the main camera, as you can see here. You have to point your smartphone to your electronics like this, facing front. You see, it doesn't really offer much convenience, but tell me what you think about it in the comment section below. Now, speaking of convenience, the side-mounted fingerprint sensor is actually very impressive, 90% of the time. Guys, at just 115,000 naira, this device comes with a stereo speakers, and they actually sound very okay and nice. This is something I would not say about a Tecno Pop device in the past. So from a physical standpoint, I think it is safe to say that the Tecno Pop 9 checks all the basic that you would look for in a phone. But what about performance? Because that's an important factor to tie in with the user experience. Guys, this phone is not about having the fastest chip with wicked fast buttery smooth animations and having up to 25 apps running in the background. No, you're not going to get that here. Remember, this cost only $75 or about 115,000 naira. So what can you realistically get from this? Well, I'm happy to report that performance is modest for day-to-day tasks, and if you're considering a phone at this price point, you shouldn't expect it to perform like those flagship or most expensive ones. But you know what? This actually gets the job done. I mean, it's kind of crazy the kind of performance you get with something like this. First off, it is equipped with a Unisoc T615 octa-core processor, boasting about 3GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. We also have an option for 4GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, which is pretty okay for some people. Now, if you enable memory fusion, it really just elevates the device performance ever so slightly, but don't expect something out of the ordinary. I would say that if you want to get the best out of this phone, get the version with 4GB of RAM. For the price, performance is very acceptable. I haven't experienced any UI freezes, but sometimes there are occasional hiccups with some apps becoming unresponsive to touch. But a quick close and reopen usually does the trick. It does take a few seconds to open the app, but once you're in, it runs pretty smoothly. I guess that has a lot to do with my device having just 3GB of RAM. Now, for software, the Tecno Pop 9 comes with Android 14 out of the box, and it offers a similar experience that you get from most recent Tecno smartphones. Example is a dynamic port that shows notification on the punch hole display. Then memory fusion. We also have Ella voice assistant, which is actually powered by ChatGPT, and a lot more. One of the things I noticed is the minimal bloatware it comes with, which is very impressive, and you can actually remove any apps that have the potential of bringing ads. Speaking of ads, throughout my usage, I haven't seen any just yet. Now, for most people, 64GB or 128GB of storage is pretty generous upgrade for storing all of your photos and videos. But if that isn't enough, this phone actually comes with a built-in micro SD card slot that enables you to expand your storage. Now, when it comes to gaming performance, let's set the expectations straight. This is a $75 smartphone, so don't expect it to rival or come close to any flagship device. But the reality is, it can actually handle 2D games like Subway Surfers and even Call of Duty Mobile, as long as it sets most of the graphic settings to low. Subway Surfers and most 2D games surprisingly ran very well. Now, while it may not be as smooth as most expensive device, it is still more than capable of providing a decent 2D gaming experience. If you wish to play more demanding games on here, you might want to look elsewhere because this might not be the phone for you. The overall performance is still acceptable for the price. Now let's talk about the camera. It is definitely not the star of the show right here, but considering the price, it's actually not that bad. You've got a 13 megapixels primary shooter and an 8 megapixels front facing camera. The camera quality is decent for what it is. It captures good details and colors in well-lit environment. However, it struggles a bit in low light situation, resulting in some grainy photos. Alright, so this is the front video camera of the Tecno Pop 9. What do you guys think about the video quality right here and also the audio quality? Let me know in the comment section below. See, you don't buy this type of phone if pictures or photos are your main concern. And I must say that camera is not this device strong suit. But just go through the images right here and tell me what you think about it in the comment section below. Now, for battery life, the Techno Pop 9 actually does a really good job. I've been able to get through a full day of usage with ease, and that's with multiple apps running and a fair bit of screen on time. The 5000 mAh battery is definitely an asset, which actually seems like the gold standard in this price category. The battery life is impressive with up to 2 days of light use. It can actually get a little more challenging with heavy use, but I was still able to get through a full day without having to charge it up. Speaking of charging, the Techno Pop 9 actually comes with a 15-watt fast charger, which is another impressive thing to have, especially at this price point. Now, in summary, the Tecno Pop 9 is a fantastic budget smartphone that offers excellent value for money with an attractive build, decent performance, and a good battery life. If you're in the market for an affordable device that covers all the basics and more, this device is definitely worth considering. This is a device I can easily recommend to anyone that wants something very cheap and good, someone that is on a very tight budget. So that is it, guys, my review of the Tecno Pop 9. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed watching this video, kindly give me a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you in the very next video. Bye bye.